Hello, and welcome to our episode of Spotlight. Today we have the privilege and honor of interviewing Father Jasica.
Or the pain and suffering.
The pain and suffering, whichever way you want to look at
This
it.
will be painful.
I'll be on the positive. Very thrilled to have this opportunity today to be able to get to know you a little bit better, and for our families, our family of parishes, to get to know you a little bit better as well. I know your parish community of St. George's knows you pretty well. You've been at St. George's for quite some time now.
Yeah, this is my ninth year.
Ninth year, great.
Who would have thought? I never thought I'd be here this long. We came here in 2012. So.
Wow. And I know a lot of our parishioners at St. John the Divine also are familiar with you and know you. You are a London-born.
Yes,
person.
Born and raised in London. Spent most of my life here and most of my priesthood here, actually. So.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people know you, but just in case some of us don't, and we'd like to get to know you a little bit more, we're going to have do some interviewing with you today.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. I'm not going to do any rapid fire questions. What's your favorite color? All of those things, although they're, it's always interesting to know those things.
Yeah, that's my favorite color. That's a tough question. I don't know if I have one particular. I like black, but that's for other reasons.
Well, you look good in black too. So.
Well, it is. You do look good in, black is a slimming color, so it's nice,
So yeah, if you could just maybe give us a little bit of a brief introduction of yourself and maybe how, where you grew up, your schools, how, all that kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. So born and raised in London. I'm the youngest of three boys. So my oldest brother, Ted, Peter, and then myself. My mom still lives in London. My dad's passed away about 23 years now. So I went to Holy Rosary Elementary School and then went to Catholic Central. I lived in South London, grew up in South London. So Holy Rosary Elementary School, Catholic Central, and then went to King's for my BA, and then went into the seminary and then was ordained priest in 2001 for the Diocese of London. I was the only one ordained for the diocese that year. So it was a tough year for the diocese that I was ordained.
Right. Yeah. 2001. Right.
It's gone by very quickly. I can't believe we're getting up to 20 years and, been in different situations, different circumstances. I was at St. Pius X first in Oak Ridge. Then we worked on clustering with St. Joseph's. So I was there for 3 years. And then I went to the center of the universe, Wallaceburg. And worked on clustering there with Wallaceburg, the two parishes in Wallaceburg and the parish in Port Lambton. I was only there a year, again, as an associate, like I was at St. Pius. Then I was sent to Godrich, St. Peter's in Godrich. I was pastor there for 5 years, which included some clustering, some parish reorganization. I was part of St. Peter's in Godrich, St. Joseph's in Kingsbridge, St. Mary's in Lucknow, St. Augustine in St. Augustine, and then eventually St. Joseph's in Clinton, all became part of what ended up being one parish. So I went through an amalgamation, went through some church closures, which were very difficult. And then after 5 years there, the bishop asked me to be full-time vocations director for the diocese. So that brought me back to London. I was there for 2 years as vocations director, but missed parish life, missed connecting with people on a regular basis, journeying through. And so I left vocations after 2 years and was given an assignment to serve here at St. George, and been here ever since. I've been busy. It's been great, but I've had a little bit of flavors of different things that are going on in our diocese and in different parts of our diocese. And it's been good. It's been great. And now in the new era of kind of the family of parishes with St. John the Divine.
Yes. Wow. That's quite you've been around and done a lot in those 19 years. That's
different experiences, different communities, different challenges, but also all of them great blessings and opportunities to serve wonderful people. And it's been great. Again, as I said at the beginning, I was surprised that I've been here so long. The people have put up with me and tolerate me, but it's been a great gift, and it's nice to be in London, close to my mom, and be able to connect and support her. And it's this area, and it's been great in working with a whole bunch of different people, different pastoral ministers, youth coordinators, working with different priests as well. It's been an adventure for sure.
Yeah, sounds like it for sure. I do have a quick question about if you knew that you wanted to be a priest. When did that happen for you? I
Uh,
always wonder what your vocation.
they ask that when you apply to the seminary, when you know when the vocation. So my parents are Polish, so
Right.
they were immigrants from Poland, so first generation here in Canada. And so in Poland, faith, the Catholic faith,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of cultural life are one and the same. They're intertwined
Mm-hmm.
very much. And so we would go to church all the time, like to Our Lady of Częstochowa, which is the Polish parish here in the city, which is my home parish. So we would go to church often, especially my mom, for different things, not just Sunday mass, but different devotions and different things, weekday masses and all that stuff. So I was connected with the parish there as an altar server. Actually, I was an altar server until my first year university. I was a lector, all in Polish, and kind of involved in different things there. And I saw the priests that served that were filled with joy. But in terms of when did I think about the priesthood, that was probably about grade 3 that I thought about that this is something that interests me. The priests were happy; they get to serve others and
Mm-hmm.
celebrate mass, like be faithful. And I thought this is really an interesting, this interests me. And of course, the sense of prayer in our family and stuff like that were significant. But so I went to, it kind of just stayed with me, and I wouldn't be afraid to tell people, say, well, what are you thinking of growing up? I said, well, maybe a priest. And so that just kind of stayed with me. There was no dramatic lightning
Right.
bolt, conversion experience. It just, faith has always just been something that was naturally part of our lives. And we would have priests come to the house, or I would help the priests out of the church with different things. So that kind of built connections with them, and saw that these were good men of faith. And so went to high school, and I ended up going on, I think, at least 3 come and see weekends. And
Mm-hmm.
and so I went, one time the associate pastor in my parish said, here's $20, here's the registration form, you're going to a come and see weekend. I said, what's that? I didn't even know we had a seminary, and this is how naive
Right.
I was. Wanted to be a priest. I didn't even know we had a seminary in the city. So then I went, and then each time they were finally saying, when are you going to come and stay? But I wanted to discern whether, I'm called to
Mm-hmm.
married life, called to other things. So I did my BA at King's first, and then I went into the seminary. So I did 5 years in the seminary. So I finally came and stayed for a while, and then was put into parish life. So, but there's no dramatic conversion story.
Right.
It was just kind of a natural, reality. Of course, the prayer and kind of when I did apply to the seminary, when I was going to, and I was really seriously saying, okay, Lord, is this what you want me to do? One of the powerful opportunities was praying at the Perpetual Adoration Chapel at St. Mary's
Mm-hmm.
Parish downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Go down, and I think I was usually there Sunday nights at I don't know if it was 10 o'clock or so, but I remember distinctly when I was applying, praying, saying, Lord, is this what you want me to do? Is this where you want me to go? And the answer was yes. So kind of the prayers guided me. And visiting in Poland, the shrine of Our Lady of Częstochowa, which is the Black Madonna. So my home
Mm-hmm.
parish is named after that. I prayed there too when I went there, and when I was going to go into university at King's, I went there and I prayed too. Is this what you want me to do? And the response was, yeah, keep going. So there's kind of mountaintop moments of sort of saying, this is where you need to go. And then didn't know what it entailed completely, because parish life is a beautiful gift, but it has its challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Different things you got to manage as a priest, and different things, but all of them really great opportunities of serving people and being with them in their joys, but also in their sorrows and challenges.
Yeah, that's wow, beautiful story. I just love hearing about those things and hearing different priest vocation stories. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. It's growing up in that foundation of faith with your family, and that becoming the kind of the cornerstone and the foundation for
See
your
what
future
can
life as a
happen when you
priest.
go to
Yes,
church often.
yes, that's right.
It's wild.
It is wild. It's that natural. It was
Yeah,
a
it was.
natural part of your life, right?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that. But and all of those things and your experiences as a priest in all of these different environments have really kind of lent for lots of experience that you have in moving forward with Family of Parishes. And how do you feel that I know coming together as our parishes for St. John the Divine and St. George, how are you feeling about that new beginning and those opportunities?
Yeah, I think some people are whether we were talking about, in the day of clustering and parish reorganization, and now the family parishes in our diocese, there's a lot of resistance for people to sort of say, well, it involves change. And we know anything of those types of things involves change. And I think there's people can be hesitant, but I've been part of 3 different clusters. I've been part of, unfortunately, some parish closures in the parish reorganization process. And so I've learned, through those things, but in all the experiences, ultimately, we're trying to do what's best so that we can be proclaimers of the good news. And this opportunity is certainly different than the others in terms of, I think, just how natural of a fit that, since we've been starting to work together, and we see how each parish in its gifts and blessings makes the other one stronger, and it's a both ways. And so I'm excited about it. I think the staff's working together. It's been an amazing experience working with you and the rest of the staff, and our staff being, it's just, again, a natural fit. And the opportunity to work with the transition team and work with the faithful from both parishes to get their wisdom, get their ideas, answer their questions. So there's a process in which we build this together. There's no, set plan of saying this is how it needs to be done, or this is how we're going to do it. We're going to do it through consulting. We're going to pray. We're going to discern, and we're going to trust the Holy Spirit to guide us. So there's a great sense of excitement, because there aren't a lot of opportunities to do something new in the church. The church has been around 2,000 years, and sometimes we just kind of get set, and this is what we always do. But this is a chance for us to begin a new era for both communities, and to build each other up, and to realize we're much stronger and much better together than we would have been apart. So I see this as, if you want to say, kind of a win-win situation for both communities, as we draw on the wisdom and gifts of both to make the family of parishes a bigger sign and a bigger place of hope for this area of the city and for the diocese. So I think it's a great chance for us to work together, and we don't even know what the great potential, that outcome will be. All I know is that it is good. And if we pray and we continue to support one another, dialogue, and be open in the process, which I think we are, that it's going to bear a lot of fruits that will be surprisingly beautiful blessings for us.
Beautifully said. I agree. That's, what are some of the kind of things that you are looking forward to in terms of shared ministries and different things? I know we are going to be working on confirmation, and that's
right.
A really exciting time. Are there any other things that you think that will are a natural progression for our parish moving forward?
I think, certainly the pandemic has invited us to kind of look at things differently. And it, as tragic, as difficult as this time is, it's also made us kind of think about how we do things and how we can do them most effectively. And going online and doing these different things that the parishes have had to do has forced us to adapt. And I think it's a good invitation for us to take a look at how we adapt as a family of parishes. So we're working on confirmation. So I think combining and working together on our sacramental prep, our youth ministry. I mean, in so many ways, both parishes kind of connect in families with sports. Of course, not right now with the pandemic, but crossover opportunities and so many different other outside of church world that I think just sharing those gifts and creating new opportunities. So, doing one thing one way and maybe one pair, something St. John the Divine does that we sit there and say, wow, we didn't even think of that. How do we do this together? Then benefits the whole community. And so we adapt, not for the sake of adapting because now we've got to do it together. It's kind of looking at what's the best of what we're doing and how do we share that with each other, which I think is something we're always called to do. And sometimes, we in the churches don't do that. And that's why the family of parishes gives us this structure or this invitation to say, how can we do this better to serve all the people? So the staff's working together and kind of just sharing the gifts of who we are and the talents and the abilities of the parishioners. and all for the gospel, not just because, well, the bishops asked us to do this, I guess we have to do this together. No, it's getting to how can we do this best to, whether it's outreach to those in need, how can we serve them better, to how do we, form our young people in the sacraments the best? How do we celebrate as a family of parishes, our masses to the best so that all of us connect with the Lord better? That's at the heart of what we're doing. We're not just doing this to be some kind of, well, we're short priests and so we have to kind of, amalgamate or cluster or form a family. But there's this deep sense, if we look at it as an opportunity, saying, how can we serve better? How can we be better? How can we be a better sign of God's love in this world? Then I think in all of us together, putting our heads together and, volunteering and serving together will make a bigger impact for people. So I really see it as opportunities to enrich both communities in a way that we would never have seen or been able to be a part of before.
Yes, it's a tremendous opportunity, I think, and viewing it through that lens instead of, that this is something we have to do because we're, covering our shortages of priests or for those. It's more than that. It's that ability for us to come together and the talents, the gifts that our parishioners have and our communities both have, share. It really is an opportunity to lend itself for so many possibilities. We don't even know what those will be. All of them,
exactly.
Right? And that's the exciting part of it. But we know our core mission of who we are as Catholics and Christians, that it's just going to be. The fruits we may not even see the fruits for a long time, and we're going to see ones that are immediate, and it's a really exciting time. And I think that ability for us to have these kind of conversations and show our people that we are really invested and excited for this. It's not just a drudgery and something we have to do. It's actually something that is really given us fire and just enthusiasm to do for them grace, and for us as community.
It's a grace, it's a blessing. It's going to involve a lot of work, and some of it's not going to be easy. Like nothing good is always easy, but we dialogue, we pray together, we work things out for the sake of, as you say, the gospel, for the sake of what's best. I think we're going to reap the benefits. There's going to be great fruits that we don't even know now. That we'll sit there and say, wow, isn't this beautiful? Isn't this great? God is so good. And we become those instruments of grace. So it's exciting. It's going to involve a lot of people's participation, input, conversation, and work. But we're doing this for the sake of building the kingdom, for the sake of the future generations of our family of parishes, for our young people, but also so that we can be relevant in our world today. That's one of the challenges for the church, to be relevant in terms of influencing, serving the poor, enriching and forming disciples who then, become those signs of Christ in all aspects of life. And so that it's a big job we've got as a church, but doing it together and sharing the expertise, the resources, and the person power to do this only makes sense for us to work much stronger together. And then again, the family of parishes is kind of facilitating that opportunity for our parishes, as every parish in the diocese is going to be part of a family, to do this in a more dynamic way, sharing the best of and marching forward together.
Beautiful. So I would just like to know if there's some things you'd like to share with that people might not know about you.
Absolutely.
Father Jasica, I understand that it's Montreal Canadiens, right? Fan?
I know. I think we should end the interview right now. You're making me feel
that's what I heard. I heard that's,
those are lies. I'm a big Boston Bruins fan, and anyone here at St. George, if they don't know that I'm a Bruins fan and a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, they haven't been coming to church in the last 9 years.
Okay, well, I can say you're a Steelers fan, so okay, we're good there.
So good, but you're not. I think you're a Montreal Canadiens.
I'm not even a big hockey fan, but that is the one I grew up with. We're baseball. We're big.
Okay,
baseball.
I'm a Jays fan for baseball.
We're Detroit Tigers.
Okay, they're okay too, but if Montreal Canadian fans are not allowed to be parishioners at St. George.
Okay,
and we tolerate Toronto Maple Leaf fans.
Okay.
No, yeah, there are some.
Should that be in the
fans.
bulletin? Can we put that in the bulletin?
Yeah, we could do that. We could do it. So I'm big Bruins fan and Steelers fan, Jays fan. I'm also I'm a certified basketball referee. So
Great. And you like
I did
college
that.
basketball
I
too,
do.
I
I do.
understand.
I do. So I did that
Yes.
years ago before I entered the seminary. I would referee high school and OBA games back then. And about 3 years ago, I coached basketball too. So for about 5 years, while I was here at St. George, I coached the St. George Catholic School boys team. And 2 of those 5 years, I coached the girls and the boys basketball teams there.
Wow.
I coached a lot of different levels over the last years, and then I decided, I said I handed off the reins to some amazing teachers that are taking over now. So I decided, well, I still want to be involved in the game. So I reconnected with the London Board of Basketball Officials and got reinstated, wrote the exam, and the rules have changed. We used to use National Federation rules, which were American high school basketball rules. But now in Canada, they use FIBA, which is the international rules. So I had to kind of relearn the rules. There was no shot clock 25 years ago and all this stuff. So the last 3 years, and unfortunately right now with the pandemic, we're not reffing any games, but for the last 2.5 years, prior to the pandemic, I was refereeing 6-8 games a week and reconnecting with referees I refereed with 25 years ago. So it's been a nice distraction. It's a bit of exercise. And who doesn't like getting yelled at? I mean, honestly, I get yelled at. It's funny how some people know that I'm a priest, and some of the coaches and I've refereed some of my parishioners, and they're a little bit more timid when they don't agree with the call. But there are some that have no clue, and I just laugh. Of course, I don't tell them I am. I just laugh. I said, you know what? That's good. I like to get yelled at and just be known as John on the court, and just staying involved in the game. And so that's been a great distraction from parish life, and running around and just enjoying. I love the game of basketball. So it's so you might see me when games get back going. You might say, hey, that looks like Father John, and it likely is. So that's been a fun thing to do.
Oh, very exciting. That's cool. I didn't know that about you. Yes, I did hear though that about the college basketball, but that was really...
I love college basketball. Is really I'm a Celtics fan for basketball, Raptors fan as well, more Celtics. So I do enjoy. In college basketball, Louisville is my favorite team. So we missed March Madness this year, and that was too bad because those are sacred times to watch a lot of basketball and really good basketball, and it's basketball's kind of been part of. I was never a very good player. That's why I became a coach, because when you can't you teach. And then refereeing, I mean, it's just something that kept me involved in the game. And again, it's fun to get yelled at and have a lot of fun that way. So it's been good. It's been fun.
Good. Well, that's really cool. I'm 6 feet, and they always wanted me on the basketball team. And then I would go, and I was like the worst player. So it's not just, being tall is fine, but you have to have
being
the ability.
Tall is very, very helpful.
My thing, so.
It's very, very helpful.
Yes. So, but thank you very much for that. It was really a pleasure to have this opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. And thank you so much. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to the family, and this has been a great opportunity just for everybody to get to know one another. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you.